What if an entire civilization, more advanced than any of its time, vanished in a single day and night? A civilization so wealthy, so powerful, and so technologically impressive that its destruction became one of the greatest mysteries in human history. For more than 2,000 years, explorers, historians, scientists, and treasure hunters have searched for it. Some believe it lies beneath the Atlantic Ocean. Others think it was buried by volcanic eruptions. And some claim it never existed at all. But what if Atlantis was real? What if evidence of this lost world has been hiding in plain sight? Today, we're diving into one of history's most fascinating mysteries, the lost city of Atlantis. Few legends have captured the human imagination. Like Atlantis, the name instantly brings images of magnificent temples, advanced technology, massive ships, and a powerful civilization swallowed by the sea. For centuries, Atlantis has appeared in books, movies, documentaries, and popular culture. But unlike many ancient myths, Atlantis has a unique feature. Its story comes from a specific source. We know exactly who first described it. That source was an ancient Greek philosopher named Plato. His writings would spark a mystery that continues to this day. The question remains simple, yet incredibly difficult to answer. Was Atlantis a real place, or merely a story? To understand the mystery, we need to travel back nearly 2,400 years. Around 360 BC, Plato wrote two philosophical dialogues called Timaeus and Critias. Within these texts, he described a remarkable island civilization known as Atlantis. According to Plato, Atlantis existed about 9,000 years before his own time. It was located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, the ancient name for the Strait of Gibraltar. In other words, Atlantis supposedly existed somewhere beyond the entrance to the Mediterranean Sea. Plato described Atlantis as a vast island kingdom. It possessed fertile lands, abundant natural resources, and extraordinary wealth. At the center stood a magnificent capital city, built with concentric rings of land and water. Canals connected different parts of the city. Massive walls protected its inhabitants. Temples covered in precious metals reflected sunlight across the landscape. At the heart of the city stood a grand temple, dedicated to Poseidon, the Greek god of the sea. According to Plato, Atlantis was not just prosperous. It was powerful. Its rulers commanded a mighty navy and controlled vast territories. For a time, Atlantis flourished, but then everything changed. As wealth increased, the Atlanteans became arrogant and corrupt. Their moral values declined. Their leaders sought greater power and domination. According to Plato, the gods decided to punish them, and that punishment would be catastrophic. Plato described Atlantis as one of the greatest civilizations ever known. Its engineers built impressive infrastructure. Its sailors traveled great distances. Its people enjoyed resources that many ancient societies could only dream about. The island was rich in gold, silver, and a mysterious metal called orichalcum. Large harbors supported trade with distant lands. Complex irrigation systems helped agriculture thrive. To many modern readers, Atlantis sounds surprisingly advanced. Some believers argue that Plato may have preserved memories of a real civilization lost to time. Could ancient people have inherited stories from a forgotten society that existed thousands of years before recorded history? It's an intriguing possibility. After all, human civilizations have risen and fallen throughout history. Entire cities have disappeared beneath deserts, forests, and oceans. The ancient city of Troy was once considered mythical. Many believed it existed only in legend. Then, archaeologists discovered it. That discovery changed how people viewed ancient stories. Could Atlantis be another lost city waiting to be found? Or does the comparison go too far? The answer becomes even more complicated when we examine Atlantis's dramatic end. According to Plato, Atlantis met a sudden and terrifying fate. He wrote that violent earthquakes and floods struck the island. Then, in a single day and night of misfortune, Atlantis disappeared beneath the sea. Imagine witnessing such a disaster. entire cities collapsing, the ground shaking beneath your feet, towering waves rushing inland, a civilization erased almost instantly. This dramatic destruction is one reason the Atlantis story remains so powerful. Many cultures preserve legends of great floods and lost lands, from ancient Mesopotamia to indigenous traditions around the world. Stories of catastrophic flooding appear surprisingly often. Some researchers wonder whether these stories preserve memories of real events. At the end of the last ice age, sea levels rose dramatically across the globe. Coastal regions that once supported human settlements disappeared underwater. Could Atlantis represent a cultural memory of those ancient floods? The possibility keeps the mystery alive, and it has inspired generations of explorers to search for answers. The search for Atlantis has become one of history's longest-running investigations. For centuries, researchers have scoured the globe looking for clues. Some searched the Atlantic Ocean. Others looked in the Mediterranean. A few even proposed locations in Antarctica, the Caribbean, and beyond. The challenge is enormous. Plato's description contains details that seem specific, yet many parts remain vague. Without clear evidence, countless theories emerged. In the 19th and 20th centuries, interest in Atlantis exploded. Books claimed to reveal its location. Expeditions searched the ocean floor. Amateur researchers offered increasingly bold explanations. Some theories gained attention because they appeared to match parts of Plato's account. Others stretched the evidence far beyond what experts considered reasonable. Still, the mystery persisted, and several locations became leading candidates. What does modern science actually say about Atlantis? The answer is both fascinating and frustrating. To date, no definitive evidence proves Atlantis existed exactly as Plato described. No underwater city matching his account has been discovered. No inscriptions have been found identifying Atlantis, and no archaeological site perfectly fits every detail of the story. However, science has uncovered several discoveries that fuel speculation. One of the most important involves the ancient island of Thera, now known as Santorini in Greece. Around 1600 BC, a massive volcanic eruption devastated the region. The explosion was among the largest in recorded human history. Entire settlements were destroyed. Tsunamis swept across the eastern Mediterranean. Ash darkened the sky. The disaster severely affected nearby civilizations, including the powerful Minoans. When researchers compare this event to Plato's description, certain similarities stand out. A prosperous island civilization, a sudden catastrophe, massive destruction involving the sea. Could Plato's story have been inspired by memories of this ancient disaster? Many experts believe it's possible. But there is a problem. The dates don't match. Plato placed Atlantis thousands of years earlier, and his geographical description differs from Santorini's location. As a result, the debate continues. Over the years, several theories have emerged as leading explanations. The first and perhaps most popular theory is Santorini and the Minoan civilization. Supporters argue that the Minoans were wealthy, advanced, and heavily dependent on maritime trade. Their destruction by volcanic forces resembles Plato's narrative. Many historians consider this one of the strongest possibilities. Another theory places Atlantis near southern Spain. Researchers have pointed to marshlands and ancient ruins near the region of Tartessos. Some believe this area may have inspired parts of Plato's story. Satellite imagery and archaeological studies have revealed intriguing structures, though nothing conclusive. Others suggest Atlantis was located somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean itself. After all, the name Atlantis seems connected to the Atlantic. However, modern geology presents a challenge. There's no evidence of a large continent sinking into the ocean during human history. Plate tectonics and seafloor mapping make such a scenario extremely unlikely. Then there are the more controversial theories. Some place Atlantis in Antarctica. Others suggest the Caribbean. A few even connect Atlantis to advanced prehistoric civilizations lost before recorded history. While these ideas attract public attention, most scientists remain skeptical due to a lack of supporting evidence. Yet the fact that so many theories exist highlights a remarkable reality. No one has definitively solved the mystery. So where does the evidence leave us? Believers argue that myths often contain fragments of historical truth. They point to discoveries like Troy and other ancient cities once dismissed as legends. They believe Plato may have preserved memories of a real civilization, distorted over centuries of storytelling. Skeptics see things differently. Many scholars argue that Plato invented Atlantis as a philosophical lesson. In his dialogues, Atlantis serves as an example of a society corrupted by power and greed. According to this view, Atlantis was never intended to be history. It was a moral story, a warning about arrogance, ambition, and decline. Interestingly, even some experts who doubt Atlantis existed still find the mystery valuable. Why? Because it reveals something profound about human nature. We are fascinated by lost worlds. We want to believe that incredible discoveries remain hidden. The story of Atlantis taps into our curiosity about the unknown, and perhaps that's why the legend refuses to disappear. Despite centuries of searching, Atlantis remains suspended between myth and reality. Not fully proven, not fully disproven, a mystery waiting for its next chapter. More than 2,000 years after Plato first described Atlantis, the mystery remains unsolved. Was it a real civilization, destroyed by natural disaster, a distorted memory of ancient events, or a brilliant philosophical invention that took on a life of its own? The truth may still be buried beneath layers of history, hidden beneath ocean waves, or waiting to be uncovered by future discoveries. Until then, Atlantis continues to challenge our understanding of the past. It reminds us that history still holds secrets, and sometimes the most enduring masteries are the ones that remain unanswered. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to History Reborn for more fascinating stories from history. From lost civilizations and legendary conquerors to the greatest mysteries of the ancient world, there's always another incredible story waiting to be discovered. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.